All right, so today is 1:30, and we are going to be solving systems using elimination. So the first day we did this, we graphed two lines and saw where they cross. It's a crude but effective method of solving a system, inefficient. Um, the second one that we've been doing for a couple days is substitution. That's the red box method. This will probably wind up being your favorite for, like I said earlier, for most of you, you'll wind up coming around and saying, I like this. This one feels the most like kind of uh, it covers a lot of different scenarios. This one just kind of works all the time. Substitution's pretty niche. Like it's good when I have a variable that I can get by itself, right? But that's pretty limited in that respect. Elimination's kind of like this is what we'll wind up using in algebra 2 when we solve jumbo like 3x3s. We'll do exclusively elimination, like no substitution at all. So let's get right to it. So I have these numbered in order. I have all six of them, and I want them done in a very particular order. So for our first example, we have 6x minus 3y equals 21. And then we have negative 6x plus 2y equals negative 16. I every year I teach this, I contemplate should I go from easy to hard or hard to easy. And this year I settled on let's start easy and go to hard. Just kind of a mental coin toss with me. But this you'll come to know as a fluffer puffer or a level one problem. Elimination is very clearly in three levels. There's one, two, three. And what's nice about this is here in about 30 seconds, we're already going to know what one of our variables is. So if I said do substitution, you'd look at this and go, I really am not comfortable with that because there isn't a variable that doesn't have a number with it. So like, I don't get it. And we could make it so that it had one, and but really it's just not the right method. So what I'm going to do, here comes elimination, is I'm going to put a line under these to tell the world, hey, I'm about to add these two things together. And elimination is this idea is at the core of a lot of upper level. I took a whole class in college called linear algebra. It was a rough one, but we spent a lot of time doing this on a grander scale, and that is just combining rows of a system together. And what the math gods bestow upon us is this. They say you can take two equations in the same system, you can add them together and get a third equation in the same system. You basically are just bringing a new guy on board by adding two of the existing guys together. This is really slick. So if follow the purple arrow here. So if you were to add straight down, what do you get? Try again. What do you get? You get nothing. That's exactly right. As we know, 6x and minus 6x completely cleanly kill each other off, don't they? Hence the word elimination. You could say they just eliminated each other. Okay. Follow the green arrow, add downwards. What do we get? Negative 1y. And I'm just going to put negative y and then follow the red arrow straight down and add. What do you get? Good. Just like that, poof, we're almost halfway done. And so if I look at that equation, I go, oh, like I'm ready to solve for y. This is awesome. If I divide by negative 1, what does y equal? Done. So we can now say that our final answer is up here in the corner with a y value of -5. And it's just that quick. Now, I don't know x, and this is the one drawback to the elimination method is that it doesn't have that cute little box. That box is so nice because it's the place at the end where you always know you can put your first answer. We don't have one. And so, well, whatever. So what you do now is you take your -5 because you know that that's what y is. And you could go put it back into either equation. Like you could take the -5 and you could put it here in place of y, or you could put it here in place of y. Like it doesn't matter. So at this point, it's a matter of personal preference. Like Hayden might choose the top equation and Allie might choose the bottom. It doesn't matter. Which one do you guys want to pick? Bottom it is. Okay, and some people would have picked the bottom because the numbers are slightly smaller. Some people would have picked the top because it has less negatives. It really doesn't matter. It's a personal choice thing. So I'm going to go with the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out and I'm going to rewrite it. But when I get, of course, to the y, I'm going to leave space for a number. What do we know y equals? So let's take -5 and put it in place of where y used to be. So far, so good. -6x. What is 2 times -5? Yeah. Next step, solve. What do we do? Add 10, giving us negative 6x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 6. What's x? And we are done. Problem over. Good. That at a very basic level is the idea and how you do elimination. Now that's a level 1. For my second example, I want to show you a level 2. Ready? So this question went over, like a lead balloon first hour, but I'm going to try again. Do you notice anything that is different about this? And it might just be too early in the lesson to ask. That's maybe why I get the stunned silence. Yeah, Xander. It's bigger than that.
Excel actually eliminated.
Yeah, look, let's go back to example 1. I'll pull it down real quick and I want you to look at it. The reason we call this a fluffer puffer, well, actually I do. It's not, obviously it's not a math thing, is that when I wrote this problem, I gave you X's on a silver platter, right? You remember that? How when we added downwards, they were just like, hey, look, if you add us together, we're going to go bye-bye. Like, take us, take us. When you look at example 2, you're going to realize that that is not the case. So it's not about negatives or positives. It's about the fact that this is not ready to go. This is not just go in and add things together. Because if you add downwards, the X's don't die. And if you add down, the Y's don't die. And if nothing dies, then we don't proceed. How do you think we can solve this dilemma? Nope. Good thinking. But I'm going to point to a number and we're going to play the wish game. We're going to play the game of, okay, right there, what do we wish that was? If it were a 20, why would things be good? Because then it would cancel out. And I say to you, we have that power. We know that one of the things in math that we're allowed to do is multiply an equation, divide a whole equation, add 5 to both sides of an equation, do whatever you like. But in this case, I'm fully green lighted by the math gods to do this. I am fully green lighted to stick a pair of parentheses, monster brackets, whatever you want to call them, around the top equation and multiply him by 2. I'm not interested in the 3y and I'm not interested in the 4. This is about having tunnel vision and looking at that 10x and saying, I'm going to make you a 20x. That's it. That's my only objective here. Now, if I do that, I'm going to head over here off to the side and it's going to now say 20x plus 6y equals 8. And then I'm just going to copy the old bottom equation over. There are ways to do this that are a little bit less clunky. Like sometimes when I do this step, I sometimes write the answer to that red math problem, like right here. Sometimes I write it down here. As long as you're kind of try to stay organized with where you're putting your parts and pieces. But now I have a fluffer puffer over here to the right. And if I do add this system together, these two equations, follow the arrows now, straight down x's, how many do we get? None. Elimination has occurred right there. How many y's do we get?
2.
Nope.
Or no, y'all are.
4. Okay, and then add the constants down. What's 8 and negative 16? Negative 8. Divide both sides by 4. What's y?
8.
Presto, just like that. Now, that means that I can write my final answer. And so I'm going to say, okay, here's my final answer. I'm going to write it way up here in the corner. I know my final answer looks like that. And as always will be the case, if you know half of a two-part answer, to find the other half, you just got to go plug it back in somewhere. Now, I would say that you're probably loco en la cabeza if you choose to substitute it into one of these, because, well, really, why would you do that, right? Big numbers, they work, but so we're going to head back to the original system. Which equation do you like better, top or bottom? Probably top. Top's a lot more physically attractive than the bottom one to us. So I'm going to take my negative 2, follow the long red arrow here, and I'm going to put it in place of y right there. This isn't like substitution where we say, well, you can't use that equation. All equations are always in play here, for the record. So top equation now says 10x plus 3 times space for a number equals 4. What's going to go in that space? And then from here, we, of course, hope and pray that you can solve that equation. What's 3 times -2? Right. And then I'm going to have to get that -6 to the other side. By adding him, what are we going to get? We're going to get 10x equals 10. And then we're going to divide and get x equals, and we are done. So way up in the northeast corner of the TV, you see the final answer, 1, -2. So a level 1 problem, a fluffer puffer, is just like ready to go. You'll see a few of those in your assignment. Like you just, this ready. You just add them together. One of the variables auto kills, and you're done, like 30 seconds. Level 2 is where I look at it and go, I can make this work. Like I could turn that 4 into an 8, or I could turn that 3 into a 9 or something like that. Any guesses as to what a level 3 is going to look like? Let me Dividing and multiplying are kind of the same idea. It's not a bad answer, but honestly, they're quite similar. Nope. Let me put it up here, and then you and I can talk about what makes it a level 2, a level 3, excuse me. You see it already? What is it, bud? Good job, my man. Or the wise. And you got that really quick. So I usually have to go through a spiel here, and I'm going to go through it, but Jace and maybe several others of you have already cracked the code. It's going to involve something you learned in grade school called the least common multiple. But for now, let me explain why we have to bust out the bigger guns. If I pointed to this number right here, what do we wish he was? We wish he were a +5, because if he were, then he could cancel with the -5 below him. But can you turn a 3 into a 5? Not without using fractions. And so let me undo that arrow and point somewhere else and ask you a different question. What do I wish that was? Yeah, if you save 10, then you know what you're doing. Like you get it. We want that to be a +10 because right above it is a -10, and those are perfect cancel opposites, right? But again, can you turn a 4 into a 10? Not without using decimals and fractions. And so I'm up against it here, and I'm gonna go back to what Jace really quickly got, and that's that I can't get away with just multiplying one of the equations this time. A level 3 means I got to change both, and that's okay. So this comes down to something that you learned years ago, like it's the idea, it's tied to the idea of a least common denominator. So let's just say that we wanted to kill the x's. Like let's say the x was looking at you sideways and or insulted your mom or something like that. And you're like, that's it, I'm going to kill the x's. What could you turn both x's into? 15. Right? That's that knowledge. We just have that sense in us that 3s and 5s both go into 15s. So I could turn the top one into, say, a 15, and then the bottom one into a -15, and that would work, right? What about the y's? What could I turn them both into?
40.
Sure. What else? 20. I'm always going to go for the smallest if I can. 40 would work, but I'm going to go with 20. Now, last question before we press in, and this is another one of these questions that if you answer it, then I know you're really in the moment here. Why are the y's more enticing and perhaps easier or delicious than the x's? There's a right answer to this. Elaborate on that. Let me show you something that makes me not like the x's. Why do I care?
Oh, because
They're both negatives, which means I'm going to have to change one of them to positive. But I am a big kid. You're a big kid. We can do that, can't we? But then I think, well, I'd rather not. Like all things being equal, why do I like the y's? They're already stacked. They're already opposite stacked. And so I don't have to worry about sign switchology here. So my take is I'm going to go ahead and kill the y's. There will be situations like one of our examples coming up where you don't have a choice. Like you can't get away. But in this case, I'm going to choose the path of least resistance. So let's all agree that we're on a mission and we're going to kill the y's, which means I want to turn this number into a -20, and I want to turn this number into a positive 20. Yeah, I possess that ability. So here we go. What are we going to multiply the top row by? 2. What are we going to multiply the bottom row by? Nice. And note that we do not have to multiply by a negative because the signs are already built the way we want them to be, which is nice. Any questions about what we just did? Off to the side, we're going to rebuild the system now. Just don't mess up. Try really hard not to mess up. Real quick, let's sweep through the top with a times 2. What do we get? Perfect. All right, that's just taking everything in the top row times 2. Totally legal, completely common. Now let's take the entire bottom row times 5. What do we get? Negative 65. Good. And now we have done it. We've turned it from a level 3 back to a level 1. Your goal is this is like Operation Fluffer Puffer. Like I need to make it look like example 1. And now that I've done that, when I add downwards, how many X's do I get? Negative 31. How many Y's do I get? Of course, that's the whole point, right? That's why we came here. And then add the constant row, the numbers without letters. What do you get? You get negative 31. Divide both sides by negative 31. What's X? Done. So our answer looks like, I'll write it over here. I'm trying to always use yellow. So if you see yellow, it's me writing the final answer, right? Generally. So how are we going to find the Y? Plug it back in. And again, I would say you're probably some sort of weirdo if you chose one of those, because like don't use the buffed up ones. So who do we like better, top or bottom? Bottom it is. So I'm going to take the bottom equation, and when I get to the letter X, I'm going to pause and just leave a space. So it's going to be negative 5 blank plus 4y equals negative 13. And in the blank will go the number 1, because that's what X is. All right, let's get to it. What's negative 5 times 1? Negative 5. I then, of course, have to turn around and add that 5 to the other side, giving me negative or 4y equals negative 8. So what's y? Done. That concludes the first part of the lesson in which I just showed you this is how you do elimination. Um, I have now some other examples that I just felt like tied more into. I think we're going to do 2 more examples. I was going to do 3. Let's do 2, and then we'll do some homework time. So next one. Um, what level would you say this is? Level 1. We got a classic fluffer puffer here, and the Y's are ready to just wave at you and say, look at us, for God's sake, here. So we're ready to do no prep work here. If we add downwards, what do we get?
7x.
We get 7 X's. The Y's go poof. And what is 7 plus negative 7? 0. And I just wanted this example in here to remind you that this doesn't mean you've done something wrong. 0 is like just a number. Divide both sides by 7. What's X? 0. So our final answer has a 0 in the first slot, right? And then you could pick either equation. Which one do you like better, top or bottom? Yeah, I would pick the top literally 100 times out of 100 because it's like, why would I want to go where there's more negatives? I'm telling you. So I'm going top. I'm putting 0 right. Follow the red arrow. I'm going 0 is right there. And I'm going to do what is 4 times 0? So that equation is literally going to solve itself and just say y equals done. Any questions there? Okay, one more example, and then I'm going to hand out the homework and we're going to do problems together or not. It's up to you. So last one. So this is a level 3 El Supremo, right? Extra spicy deluxe. By the way, the only other thing about this that will get harder on later in the week will be when I start moving the terms around. So, like if I put the X's and Y's in weird places, your first job is to line them up. Notice the beauty of this, how the X's are in line, the Y's are in line. So that's by design, and that won't always be the case. But we got to make it the case. Anyhow, this is top of the mountain. Here we go. Not a fluffer puffer, not even a level 2, definitely a level 3. Who do we want to eliminate? Excellent choice. So, what could I turn the X's both into? 20s. So, what should we multiply the top by? What should we multiply the bottom by? Okay. And this is why this example made the cut. Like every time I write a bunch down, I'm like, I fire some of my examples. So I'm like, you got nothing to offer. This one has this to offer. You must multiply by -5. We're in a position in this case where whether you chose X's or Y's, someone has to change a sign. I can't do positive, positive and think that things are going to go away. It doesn't work that way. So I could have multiplied the top one by -4 and the bottom one by +5. That would be fine, as long as you get that negative in there. And that's why this example made the cut. So what's my new top equation going to be? Yeah, bottom. Uh-uh. -25y equals, yeah. Now, this is where I like to draw this line now. That line to me is an indication that I'm announcing that I'm about to add things together. So that line feels like it should go there. So now when I add downwards, how many X's do I get straight down the line? None. Yeah, kill them off, eliminate them. Don't put 0 or anything like that. Just eliminate them, cross them out. How many Y's do we get down this line? -1y. And then heading down this line, what do we get there? -45. Boy, did we do something weird here? I feel like 3, that's 15. Did I? There's no way. Man, my morning, I cannot get through one class without doing something stupid. What did we do wrong? I don't see anything either. What? So let's just carry on. All right. So what do we think Y is? 45. Right. I did not mean for that to happen. So the record, it's been going on all day ever since 7:52. I'm just on a 2.5 hour losing streak here. So there's no way in God's green earth that this is going to go well. But let's give it a shot. Right. So let's. So we know our answer has a Y of 45. I maybe should have stayed home today. Uh, I don't know. I still maintain that. Did I put that -3? What's 15 minus 30? Yeah, that's right, -15. And then what is 12? Oh, there it is. That's my bad. That's nothing to see here. Carry on, kids. All right, let's keep going. We haven't messed up. Well, I did earlier. You didn't. Let's put 45 back in place of Y. Which equation do you like better? Bottom? That's fine with me. Yeah, my bad. So we're going to put that right there since you guys said bottom. And we're going to go 4x plus 5 times, leave a space, equals -3. And what's going in that space?
45.
45. So we have 4x plus 225. It's my bad. Equals -3. Let's go ahead and subtract 225 from both sides because why not? So 4x equals -228. which the math is okay. It's just kind of not what I meant. X equals negative 57. My bad. That, my young future mathematicians, is how you do elimination. I unfortunately, earlier today when I was writing this example, I thought that 12 minus 25 was something that I'm not gonna tell you what I did. We're gonna keep it a secret. No, it was me. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to leave it open, but I'm going to hand out the homework. I feel like I added a couple of examples there. I feel like I've touched on some things that were pretty common questions earlier. So um, I'll pause it real quick while I hand these out, and then we can maybe do a couple or not, whatever floats your boat. Zoom. You want to try one? Yeah. So this is about to be the beautiful handiwork of the student whose initials are M.E. I don't think I can say your full name because this goes on the internet. There's probably some law. This actually is looking quite good. Have you done this before? So yes. Oh. What does that have to do with anything? Well, you were just going at it like a boss. Keep going. This is great. Oh. I go up to the operator. No. You can also use the yellow undo button, which I think maybe is what you were going for. It's undo.
You got this, just focus.
Go to you're going to the right again. There you go. Okay. Oh, go left. Go left. Now tap.
Tap it. But it's
Nobody has the knowledge. It's like
Everybody used to.
go down to the bottom of the
you got she grabbed the wrong pen. It's okay. This is how we learn. So, you got the three pens. That's why it's sometimes good to sit a little closer. You got the three pens.
You got this.
Yeah. Hey, FYI, all these people that are laughing at you, if they try it, they'll realize it's not that easy. All right, you're ready. Is this what level would you say this is? For sure. Yeah. Those X's are just screaming at you. So.
And not because they're involved.
Right. You've recovered nicely. This is gorgeous. Carry on. Top notch. Okay. Good job. You're halfway home. All right, hey, pro tip, just real quick. Don't listen to anyone else. Just look at the bottom of the screen. Do you see that menu across the bottom? Do you see the little hand that looks like this? Yeah, click that one. Okay, now go touch the screen and pull up. Nope, like that. There you go. See, you can make more room that way. You don't want to make a new page, maybe because you got all that other stuff you need to look at, like your equations and numbers and stuff.
You have to go down on the bottom and press the pen.
So which equation are you putting it
Number
back?
one.
Oh, the second. It looks like you're using the second equation. Okay. Except you can't put it in place of the x there, dude.
Oh,
Right, it's not x that you solve for, it's y. So x needs to stay as an x.
I'm more focused on this.
Right there.
I would just, again, it does help. I mean, I have an advantage. I have a screen right here that I can see. It's hard for you guys from back there. The little closer people have an advantage.
Oh, if you let me do this. Where did you go? Can you like see the numbers on that pad? No.
You look at something else while you're writing. I'll never look down at my screen. I'm something like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, that'd be it nothing shows up on that. That's the $50 version where just there's the $300 or $400 version where there's like an actual screen on there.
No. They have a separate tab below and you have above,
Yeah.
they do the same.
I will say that up until the point where you wrote that absolute abomination of a -6 in your answer, for the people trying to copy this down for the record, in case you are, her answer is -6, -10. I thought it was really good up there till the end. So honestly, yeah, I mean,
Oh my gosh, I see it.
yeah,
No, you
listen, all things considered, that was a good first effort. It's not easy to write on that thing.
let me see what did you see.
It's up at the top. Let me pick your pen up for a second, and I'll move to show you where it's at. Right there, above there is the new page button. Did you see it? Yep, right there. Go up a little bit. Click that. Click. There you go. Yeah, I think so. You doing problem 2? Oh, you're doing number 3, everybody. If you're following along, if you're not, nothing to see here. She's on 3. KJ, you want to give it a shot after? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much time we'll have, but KJ's next to the queue, and then we got double B over here, and then we can do some more tomorrow too. But definitely makes math a little bit More innocent again.
Oh.
Now this is a great time to use the eraser. I don't know what that is. You could survey 100 people and they'd all say something different. Oh, that is not fine. That's like you're cooking a meal and the kitchen just lights on fire and you're like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just cooking chicken.
We got this under control. Yeah, I mean, listen, honestly, if you can please eliminate that abomination of a zero, I'm gonna give this 2 thumbs up. But as long as that thing is on the board, those ostrich eggs or whatever they are. Oh my God, that was yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, everybody. 0, -8. KJ, you want to try? It's like it's a little learning curve, and then it just keeps getting better. You know? Buttons on the left. Do you see those like 4 buttons or 5 buttons? No, they're on at the top. I guess so those should go on your left side. Yeah, I think so.
Hover it over and see if it's upside down. Everything has to be at the top.
You can't turn it off. Just don't click the button on the side of the pen because it changes the functionality of the pen. I think it makes it into an eraser. I just, I, I should pry that button right off of there, but I don't want to wreck it.
So I just saw it flashing up and down on the screen. I thought you were trying to write.
All right, she's ready. It's go time. Which problem are you on? 2. All right. Then we'll have the first 3 all knocked out.
Oh, that's really You're doing good. We have to do that so you can get the lines. Not the exits.
Yeah, you're doing great, by the way. So keep going. So notice what's happening now, and this is good. Keep going. I'm just going to talk over you. That I went in my examples and I went off to the right and rewrote everything. But as you see here, it's okay to just like take an old equation and make it new and just kind of put it back in line. Just be careful with this method because when she goes to do her elimination step, it's really easy for the eyeballs to accidentally fall on that middle row. So you just have to train yourself, and you'll want this especially like in algebra 2 when we get to triple systems. Like you have to learn to just tell your eyes to only look here and here. So in a minute when she's ready, she's gonna have to add top, skip the middle, add the bottom. So no big deal. Just be aware of that. No, everything should come out nice. Yeah. Did you just try to draw a samurai sword?
I tried on an 8 and then no.
What's that? Is that okay? That's a plus sign. That's not a samurai sword. That's a plus.
Oh, shoot. That's a B. Actually 5.
How come did you put the 5 way over there?
I didn't. Oh, where's this thing? Now it's fun. It's a Y, actually. Okay.
That's going to be a positive 42 because you're, yeah, -8 plus 50.
What's the line for the negative? Where? That's a Y equals 0. Yeah, yes. I did it in my head for how long?
For the record, for anyone who's following along, I'm relatively certain that that is wonderful, good work. So, not easy for those of you guys mocking the brave people trying it. It's not easy at all. So you know, nice, good work. Not bad at all.
What?